April 9, 1865. Appomattox Courthouse, Virginia. The last battle of the Civil War. The invasions of the Union armies left the South in ruins. Many homes were destroyed. Some Confederate soldiers went home just to find their homes blown to smithereens. The Civil War also tore many families apart. Brothers were divided against brothers, fathers against sons. Fathers and sons would sometimes die side by side during the battle, or one would die and the other would live. In either case, the mother or wife of both these brave men was left a widow or sonless. With millions dead across the South and much of the property destroyed, the South's economy was useless. It was up to the Union to reconstruct the South, something President Lincoln had been dreaming of. But his dream was short-lived. His assassination shortly after the war left it up to his Vice President Andrew Johnson, who soon was sworn into office.
Place your left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Andrew Johnson, do solemnly swear.
I, Andrew Johnson, do solemnly swear
That I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States.
that I will faithfully execute the office of the President of the United States
And will, to the best of my ability,
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 17th President of the United States, Andrew Johnson.
Before being assassinated, Lincoln's plan for Reconstruction was known as the 10% Plan.
The 10% plan? That was letting the Confederates off easy. They only needed to have 10% of the voters take an oath of loyalty for the state to be readmitted into the Union. The Union was that desperate to have a unified country.
President Johnson's plan differed only slightly from President Lincoln's. In his plan, it denied pardons to all Confederate leaders, but Johnson often issued pardons to those who asked him personally. States had to void secession, abolish slavery, and repudiate the Confederate debt. Only then could states hold elections and rejoin the Union.
On the surface, Johnson's Reconstruction plan was going to help repair the South, but in reality it only helped the white Southerners and ignored the needs of the newly freed blacks. This is why he pardoned so many of these Confederate leaders who would have been held accountable under Lincoln's Reconstruction plan.
Besides economic and political reconstruction, a humanitarian program was needed to help the newly freed blacks throughout the South, and the Freedmen's Bureau was born.
The Freedmen's Bureau was probably one of the greatest early social programs that came out of the Civil War era. It helped both poor blacks and poor whites. It showed no discrimination. It gave them food, it gave them clothing, it gave them shelter. And when it was repealed by Congress, it was stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Although the passage of the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments was a major victory for civil rights, a new battle still loomed ahead: the infamous Black Codes.
Although the 13th Amendment had already freed the slaves, the Southern legislatures worked to limit their newfound freedoms. For example, they weren't allowed to borrow money for land or testify in court against white people.
As a result of the black codes, a new relationship between whites and blacks emerged. A new farming technique called sharecropping was born.
Sharecropping? That was no different than slavery. The slaves are right back working for white people again. Sure, on the surface they said they can pay them back. Everyone knew that wasn't gonna happen. They were there for life. It was just a way to put blacks right back on them plantations.
Black codes and Jim Crow laws would plague the American South well into the 20th century. It wouldn't be until the 1960s that African Americans would finally be able to experience their 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment rights to their full extent. Just before the 10-year anniversary of the Civil War, panic gripped the economy in a depression known as the Panic of 1873.
The Panic of 1873 was an interesting turning point during the Reconstruction era. Now, not only the South was struggling economically, but the entire country as a whole. This prompted economic reform in Congress and greatly helped speed up the rate of Reconstruction to help it finish by 1877. The Panic of 1873 was directly caused by the passage of the Coinage Act of 1873, which stopped the minting of silver coins. Silver was an abundant resource out in the West, especially in places like Nevada. By stopping the minting, you destroyed the silver industry, which terminated thousands of jobs. And silver was more abundant than gold. And if you can't use silver as money, the economy's gonna tank.
The process of using two types of metals to mint money was known as bimetallism. By using both silver and gold as a standard to base currency, the United States economy skyrocketed during the 1800s. With the passage of the Coinage Act, however, they lost one of these metals, and as a result, the economy plummeted. At the end of Reconstruction, America was far from perfect, but it had reached its main goal, become a unified nation once again. There are many challenges left ahead, but with the Civil War out of the way, America could finally move forward.